Right here. There's my mic. How's that? Right here. There's my mic. How's that?
Testing, 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 testing. All right, cool.
Yep, you're good. Just as long as I'm with that.
Testing, testing, testing,
arm
testing,
while you're
testing.
talking.
All right, cool.
Yep, you're good. Just as long as I'm with that.
Testing, testing, testing,
arm
testing.
while you're-
Okay. Sorry, the audio wasn't going. The microphone audio wasn't going through. So
Okay. Is it going through now?
yep, we're good.
Okay.
Let me turn my mic down on the stream a little bit because it is a little heavy.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pause the music. Guys, that was the River Rhythms by River. Check him out. He's on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you want to get your music. You can also check out and download his audio from
It's Discord.
his Discord, which you can find at River RIVVER.agamingmoment.com. We love to help him out. He supports the channel, so we support him.
And he makes music I would actually listen to.
Absolutely.
Which is rare to find for music you could use for your stream.
Yeah, he just put out a new album literally 2 weeks ago called hashtag no, what's it called? No,
I listened to it, but I don't know, I don't know the title.
Oh my goodness. Hang on. Hashtag no context. Sorry. There we go. Hashtag no context. So if you're coming in, guys, and you're watching the episode live stream right now, this is unedited, raw, unfiltered. When we actually post the podcast up on the major podcasting websites, it does get edited, so there will be some stuff that we cut out. You might hear some kind of repeated stuff if we don't feel like we hit it kind of on the nail. So we'll go back and we will kind of do a retake, if you will. That's strictly for the edited version of the podcast. But we do appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out with us, dealing with all the craziness that is here. We try to be as consistent as possible, but work schedules and family life don't allow for that sometimes. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this kicked off. So we'll do the good old intro, and then we'll just move right on in. So let's go ahead and knock that intro out. What's up, game geeks and tech junkies? Welcome to A Gaming Moment, a weekly podcast about everything gaming and streaming related, including the news, tech, and software behind it. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you can engage with us, as well as find out when we're streaming the podcast and get a first listen before it goes out across all of your favorite podcasting platforms. I'm Diggin07, and with me, as always, is WildTwinsFan. How you doing this week, Wildy?
Well, to be honest, I got a bit of a cough, so we're going to keep that out of the recording for the podcast to save everybody. And we'll make it through.
I think you'll be doing just fine. But what do we got going on this week?
A couple of big stories here. We got Twitter and Musk taking over Twitter and some of the falling out on that. Nothing there that wasn't really probably expected. And then we're going to talk about the mess. And then we're going to talk about the Meta Quest Pro and how that might not be your next headset as a gamer. And we also have some banter items we're going to talk. Of course, we're going to talk about Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 is launched. Dagon and I have been playing.
So good.
And we got some thoughts.
So good.
Also, big Twitch streamer XQC goes to urgent care. Talk about that. Gotham Knights launches on consoles. Stuck at 30 FPS. And PC requires some serious hardware. So, not surprising there. They've always come out pretty buggy. Pretty cool story. The original Witcher is being remade from the ground up on Unreal 5. So, a little more power there, a little more realistic there. That'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. And Netflix might be getting into cloud gaming. Netflix might be getting into cloud gaming when they form a new gaming studio. So we'll see what that kind of comes into play and kind of keep eyes on that.
So the big story kind of in the tech and content creation world, if you will, is Elon Musk finalized his acquisition of Twitter, and the dude came in making a big splash. Like he walked into Twitter headquarters carrying this big ass heavy sink, and there was some social media on it, and the saying with this video was "Let this sink in," and essentially rumors are he's gonna be doing some major job cuts. He's already come in and he's dissolved Twitter's board of directors, which cements him as the sole owner, the sole principal of Twitter. And they're contemplating major job cuts, potentially up to 25%. So pretty much one in every four employees is going to be impacted by this. And it was funny. He started bringing in some of the people that he's really close to. Friday evening, shortly after Musk completed the sale, the garage at Twitter's headquarters began filling with Teslas in the reserve spots, and they were all parked in a row. And what that is he was bringing in Tesla engineers to interview Twitter engineers to begin looking through the company's products and code. And the engineers were asked to print out dozens of pages of code. One engineer even posted a picture of herself with printed code to Twitter on Friday with a note that said, "Hey, just following orders." So, man, being a developer myself, I've never in my career had to print out dozens of pages of code and try to look through dozens of pages of code. I get it because you can highlight and you can easily make like notes in it, but that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good. Can't really. I mean, we can't really be too surprised by this, right? Twitter's Elon's been very critical of Twitter in the past, and
Hmm.
so to go in there, kind of clean house and get rid of some people, a lot of the top people are gone. That's not really surprising. That happens a lot of times in big takeovers, and I'm sure they were expecting it. So no real surprise there, but you're going to see a shift here, and maybe some optimization. Um, so yeah, I think it's good. I think maybe some new blood in there, kick some new life into things, will be good. Um, it's a
I
big number, 25% of the company being
Yeah.
cut. That's a big number. It's a little bit scary, and I feel for those people. I think they'll be hopefully all right in the industry to be able to go out and get another job. But that's rough. I always hate hearing that side of the story.
We'll see. I know some people that have worked at Twitter, that still work at Twitter, that work in Facebook and stuff like that. And essentially they get paid to not do a whole hell of a lot of work, right? And we're going to leave the political side out of this because there's a whole bunch of political bullshit that goes into this with the United States government going in and saying, because Twitter is actually part owned by some Saudi Arabian corporations, and there's a whole fiasco with is there a national security thing going on with that. But like I said, we're gonna stay away from all the political BS, and we're starting to see notifications of actors in Hollywood, high elitists and crap, getting off of Twitter because Elon Musk bought it, and they're like, oh, my speech is going away, or they're promoting all this other crap when all Musk has been saying is he wants a platform for free speech. So that's the whole reason why he bought it. But an interesting development actually just got announced within the last 24 hours is Musk is actually considering rebooting Vine later this year. And something I didn't know was Twitter actually purchased Vine for a reported $30 million back in 2012, which, I was just a little young pup then. I was only 23 back then. And then they shut it down in 2017, which my wife was a huge Vine fan. And you guys got to listen to my wife last year. You guys got to listen to my wife last episode, kind of give her thoughts and ideas and, her opinions on like Overwatch 2 and everything. So it was really cool having her on. But Musk is said to have discussed Vine in the months leading up to Twitter's acquisition, and on Sunday launched a Twitter poll asking if he should bring it back. And the responses were running about 2-1 in favor. So there's a lot of people that are interested in bringing Vine back to life and having it be an American company and really rival TikTok, which, the biggest knock on TikTok is it's a Chinese-owned company where there's speculation that they're taking your data and they're, whatnot. We're giving it to them anyway. And Musk actually reached out to Mr. Beast, or Mr. Beast actually responded to this tweet, and he said, if you did that and actually competed with TikTok, that'd be hilarious. To which Musk replied, what could we do to make it better than TikTok? Which is an honest businessman's answer, right? What can we do to separate ourselves from the competition? What can we do better?
Yeah. You could say you're not from China. I'd start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, like I said, this is kind of a really big thing, both on the political front, on the content creation front. And while just literally this week, I've seen a huge uptick in my own personal Twitter follower raise. And I don't know if that's because of the last couple of videos that I've been putting out on my YouTube channel or what it is, but it's been the biggest growth I've had outside of joining a couple communities back when I first started my Twitter account. it's been like the revival of my Twitter account, and I don't really post a whole lot on there other than, hey, I'll retweet some things here, retweet some things there, and then I'll advertise, hey, I put out a video, but that's really it. I don't live on Twitter, so it's been nice to see it kind of grow. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just because it's so much in the news right now. People are thinking about it, and they might be using it a little bit more. And you did put out some videos and good videos that you put out. So yeah, I'd see that would bump your popularity up a bit. So I mean, I see it all. It's good stuff. The new Logitech Lite looks pretty sweet.
Oh, thank you.
So brand
Using
new
it
though,
using it in the stream.
About it.
Using it in the stream, it looks really good. I've got a single light shining on me. If you're checking out the stream, it lights my for the most part, it lights my my green screen. You can kind of see a shadow in the background, but that's the worst of it. I'm usually not moving around too much to create shadows, so it's not a big deal.
I got dual lights.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up another one. They're about $100. Guys, you can check the review and unboxing video out on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Dagan07, or you can start using their new handle system. I think it's youtube.com/Dagan07 or something like that. I haven't actually tested that out. That could be another topic we could talk about another day. All the good shit YouTube is putting out here recently.
Nope.
But, speaking of good shit, or maybe not so good shit, we're going to pay off on our tease from the last episode, and we're going to talk about the Meta Quest Pro. And Wild, we're back at it again. We're talking about AR, VR, and MR, mixed reality. And, man, what we've gathered is the Quest Pro is not geared towards gamers, but geared towards professionals for productivity. And, yeah, by the way, it's $1,500.
Yikes. I mean, that's not out of the realm of a cost of a VR headset, but when you're basically, it's poor to say this, but when you're basically putting out a Quest 2 for triple the price, it's a hard pill to swallow. Now, that being said, it is much more than a Quest 2. They have refinements everywhere on the product, except for their software, which seems to be struggling at the moment. A lot of unreleased stuff. A lot of polish, it looks like, to come into play yet. Like some of the major players, like even like the Wi-Fi is not really working right. And, that I expect they'll get that worked out. That's a big piece of how good it works. So, it's just, but to jump into games, you're not going to see really much any clarity. In fact, arguably the resolution's a little bit lower on the Quest Pro. They say the field of view is a little bit better, but in the trade-off of things, they got new lenses, so you don't have so much of that screen door effect. So that's a big thing. It kind of looks like, to me, like this is a stepping stone for Oculus, and maybe not the stepping stone you want to be on, but they're really going after that corporate market. And I don't know how many corporations or businesses use like Microsoft's HoloLens. You got Apple's VR device. We still have not fully got any real release on yet, so wait for that. But that's kind of expected to be a corporate device too. So I don't know what corporations are using these so much that they're a $1,500 device for a corporation is a small investment, but it can be a large investment when you start putting it across
Multiple people. Yeah, multiple people. Like the commercials that I've seen for it is they're trying to make the virtual meeting room seem less virtual and make it feel like you're more in person. But it requires you to have this big, heavy headset attached, and you have to do everything with the controllers in your hand, and it's just not practical. Like, I get it, the work from home, and you're trying to bring back that water cooler talk, and they're trying to have avatars that feel more real, and the head strap on it does look comfortable. It looks pretty much like the one I just purchased for my Quest 2.
I've seen some complaints, and it's not removable. So that
Ooh,
is your headset. That is your head
ooh,
strap. So yeah, that's another miss in my book. Like, I don't know why it is permanently attached. So
bad
there's
play,
no, like, I mean,
bad
why
play.
isn't there screws and stuff like that? And so that makes it kind of a hard pill swallow for me, especially if you're going to be moving around a lot. I don't know. I don't know. But to see a couple of people have really kind of complained about some forehead pressure. They've probably been pretty spoiled too.
Yeah. I I don't see many business adopting this. Like maybe potential businesses would be like architecture and construction where they can, simulate walking into a building or walking into a room that's being designed, and they can, they can feel how it's going to be kind of kind of in real time without actually having it built. Oil and gas. There's a place by my bariatric surgeon after I just had my surgery. They have sim rigs for oil and drilling in the office right next to the doctor, and it's kind of like a cockpit with the screens around it. I could see maybe something like that where you kind of are involved in it like that. But there's for me there's no real difference between the using that for an Oculus Quest 2 and then using the Quest Pro. Like there's no difference to me. And
Well, I think there's a difference there. I mean, there's everyone does say the reviews that I've seen. I haven't got hands on one yet. Um, do say it is better. Objectively, everything is for the most part better. Some software pieces that could theoretically all be fixed fairly in the future. Um, the big praise is the controllers now. A lot of people are saying they're maybe the best controllers. So they got multiple cameras, they got processors built into them, and you can add them to your Quest 2. They are going to be a $300 upgrade. So,
whew,
there's some power there. There's some cameras there. You're paying for some performance. So
yeah,
for
for
me,
me,
I think it's just it might be just a glimpse at the next gen of what we're seeing with VR.
I think one thing that did look cool about it was I think they're focusing more on augmented reality. I think they have a way that you can actually see through it and not like with the Quest 2, you don't see a color like from the cameras. The cameras are black and white when you're viewing through the camera in the actual headset. They might have full color, or they might have it where your lenses you can turn off like at the LCD screen and actually kind of see out into your world and then project things like an AR style like an AR style headset, and that way you're within your own environment. So like if you wanted to do, I guess, like home staging or something, that could kind of be another use case for it. But again, at $1,500, that's going to be a very niche, very very niche community.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of what I feel, and I feel like a lot of this technology is good. A lot of technology is better. I know Zuckerberg's catching the heat right now, catching the major heat with the metaverse right now, and basically everyone's already saying is it's a failure, more or less. And um, I, not that I'm a Zuckerberg fan, but I don't think it's a fair shake yet. You're still building, uh, you're building a reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be adopted overnight, and the tools to get people to use it and the motivations to get people to use it aren't going to come overnight. So it's a lot of money spent on it, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, if you enjoy the podcast and want to go above and beyond. So, guys, if you've been enjoying the podcast and want to go above and beyond downloading and subscribing to support us, we've got a Patreon that you can visit at patreon.agamingmoment.com. Check out our Patreon for our exclusive Patreon rewards. So,
So
Wild.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
so yeah, Dave, big topic this week. Modern Warfare 2 dropped. I know we both got the game. What are your experiences?
Well, first off, huge shout out to Wild, who was a broski, and gifted it to me because my smart self here didn't actually pre-order it like I said I was going to like 6 months ago. But we got some games in. It's been when you're actually in the game, it's been kind of nice, but it's been rough staying in the game. I crash quite a bit. I've uninstalled, reinstalled, and I'm using the Steam launcher versus Wild, I believe, is using the Blizzard launcher. And I've verified files. I've uninstalled, reinstalled. I've been trying to play the campaign. I can get like 20 minutes into the campaign, and then it freezes and crashes. And then when we were playing multiplayer, we were playing Search and Destroy. There was a couple instances where it crashed on me. I don't think it's crashed on you as near as much, and I'm wondering if that's because you're using the Blizzard launcher versus the Steam launcher. I don't know if there's been
No,
a big difference.
I think some people found some bugs, and one of the things you can't do right now, and I knew this and I did it today. And I caught myself and I crashed. But you cannot edit classes unless you're in lobby, like not searching for a game, or you are in game. And those are the only two times that I will change a class. If you're in lobby after the match, waiting for the next match, and you edit your class, you're more than likely going to crash right now. So those two things, and then there's something about being in a party that does make you crash or does kick people out. This is not new. We've talked about this. World War II was probably the worst launch for multiplayer that I've ever seen. Half the time I was in the opposing team's chat when I was on my team and stuff like that. And half the time you just couldn't join your friends or their chat. You just couldn't do it. So, I mean, we're better than that, but there's been some issues. When you can play the game, it plays nice. But I'm going to let you in on one big secret. It's half the game because there's no hardcore. Like, what the fuck? Seriously, when have they ever launched the game without half the game being in it? And granted, hardcore is probably not half the player base, but that's what I play. And it's an adjustment for me because I'm used to being able to flick and hit a shot and then move on to the next guy or whatever. But now you got to flick, hit the shot, hold the shot, make sure you hit all your shots, chase the guy around while you're still shooting, waiting for him to die or whatever. Or now what happens is you decide you're going to level up the next new gun. And so you're using like some bare version iron sight with no attachments. Then you get absolutely erased after you start shooting at them. And they go, hey, that hurts. And then they turn and finish you off with their meta guns. So that's kind of rough. So we're going to talk about, I think Day and I are both going to put out maybe what our meta gun is at the moment, what we're really liking, what the class setup is. So if you guys are kind of struggling too, look forward to those TikTok shorts, YouTube shorts coming up pretty quick here. And we'll run you through our classes.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I've found that was really weird for me, as you know, as most of you guys know, I enjoy the campaign. This has been kind of like my biggest thing. The whole reason why I was going to buy the game was for the campaign. It wasn't even really for the multiplayer. But when you actually launch the campaign, it relaunches the entire game, which is really weird to me. And I haven't understood why yet. Like maybe it's access. I don't even know if it's like accessing a different part of the game. Like, why does the game have to restart to go into the campaign? Really weird. The other thing, and we'll probably make a TikTok or a short or maybe a full blown review video on this particular map. But oh my God, U.S. border map What the fuck? That is like the most troll map COD could have put out to make every vehicle, and mind you, US border map is nothing but a long ass road with a bunch of vehicles on it, and all the vehicles fucking blow up. Like, just throw a nade and you can probably kill somebody by blowing up a vehicle.
It's not super terrible, maybe, for like TDM or capture the flag, or I mean, it is terrible, don't get me wrong, but like at least you could blow those up, right, and they're done. But now when you play search, right, you can blow them up 12, 11 times. 11 times in a match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous. Like, when you have to just like be afraid of grenades, and it's not even grenades, right? Like, you know, like a car, you standing by a car that blows up with a grenade is going to kill you, even with, you know, EOD or any of those perks on,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's just, I think it's the worst map design ever in the history of COD. And that goes to be, you know, that says a lot.
Yeah, I was watching Doc today. Another thing that kind of popped up on his stream, like a question that popped up on his stream, was talking about the TTK, the time to kill, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he stated that it feels like the TTK is higher on mouse and keyboard than it is on controller. And he kind of tested it out. He used his mouse and keyboard, like he's able to flick faster, get on people, but it took 3 to 4 more bullets on mouse and keyboard to kill somebody. And then he switched over, used the same exact class, same exact gun, fired at the same exact spot on the person, and it took 3 to 4 less bullets than it did on the mouse and keyboard. So yeah, so it was interesting in the fact that, you know, maybe they're giving, I mean, controller people,
that's intentional. There's no way that's intentional.
Yeah, I mean, because controller people already have aim assist. Like, oh my goodness, like, okay, now you're really tilting, especially like the crossplay compatibility. You're really tilting the strength to controller players. Like, dude, Z-Laner is gonna fucking own in this game, and if they keep this same thing, this same setup going into Warzone 2, like gamers like Z-Laner, where they use controllers on PC, they're gonna fucking own everybody. I mean, as if Z-Laner doesn't already own everybody to begin with, but it's still crazy to me to think that.
I think top level play, controller versus mouse and keyboard, there's negligible advantage. You know, the people with controllers are incredible to a controller, given the precision you can have with a mouse and keyboard. So yeah, I don't know if it's a big thing. I'd like to see aim assist get a big nerf or disappear, and then we'll see where the real men lie. But till then.
So Wild, I just noticed something, and I'm really pissed off at myself.
Yeah.
We don't have Craigbot going, nor do I have Zencaster going.
Oh. Okay.
So we got it's going to be from the stream.
Or we can, yeah. That's fine. Well, it is what it is.
Okay. I'm just letting you know. I'm kind of mad at myself.
One of these days, we're going to make a checklist. Literally the first thing we tell every streamer. Make a checklist. Check off your little list every time you stream, and then you'll be perfect.
Oh,
and if you don't have the checklist, what is it? What's the fucking... Can't think of the term right now.
Now recording.
No. Fuck you, Craig.
I'm so mad. I don't know. Do we want to go back through it, or do we just want to keep pushing through? We can keep pushing through. the audio quality is not going to be the best, but whatever. Not happy now. That's okay. So on to more streaming news. I'm not a fan of this guy. I don't think he's any good, but he's one of the top tier streamers on Twitch, so figured we'd have to at least bring this up. But XQC went to the urgent care after he started randomly bleeding from the ears. And that's kind of crazy. And XQC puts in a lot of time on Twitch, and man, I don't know what it is. Like, is it the stress of trying to make the ends meet? Like, he's got enough. I think he's got enough followers, but he said he had to take a small break from Twitch due to testing positive to COVID-19 after returning from TwitchCon, and he just it's really weird. His face started swelling. And it was over the course of a few days, and they're saying that he might have contracted a viral ear infection, and antibiotics are only effective against bacteria and don't work against viruses. So I guess he just ended up getting a viral that I've never heard of it, and my father-in-law's a doctor, but he ended up getting a viral ear infection, which kind of fucked his world up.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
guys. Yeah,
it's one of those things, man. That's another downside to streaming for a living, man. If you are down and out, how you make money? He's big enough. He ain't worried about living paycheck to paycheck or paying rent or anything. But still a thing to be aware of.
Yeah, he just remember, guys, to take care of yourself. If you're trying to get really hardcore into this content creation game, you're trying to be a streamer, you're trying to spend all your time doing the streaming, like, just remember to take a break. Your health comes first. We talk about mental health all the time. Make sure that you're taking care of you before you try to take care of your wallet, because your wallet doesn't exist without you.
Yep. All right. So, yep, we'll keep tabs on XQC. Looks like he'll be all right, but down for the count at the moment.
Wild, are you
another news? Sorry.
Wild, are you Wild, are you a Batman fan?
I mean, not really. I mean, I enjoy Batman. I've enjoyed the movies. That's as far as I go. I don't read comic books.
So I've watched my wife play every Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum game that's come out. It's been pretty fun. Those are pretty good games, solid games. And Gotham Knights, which is the newest addition to kind of that DC game universe, it was supposed to be super hyped, and it was supposed to come out and be like this grand thing that was supposed to come out, that it was Warner Brothers' next big game that they were dropping. And unfortunately, it'll only run at 30 frames per second on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. And it's also more expensive on those two platforms, which those platforms are supposed to support 60 frames a second, or in some instances, even up to 120 frames a second. Like, wow.
Yeah, but we've seen this. We've seen this before, and I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was Arkham. I can't tell you because I don't know off the top of my head. But we've definitely seen issues with them releasing games and not doing well. Especially same things, plagued by running slowly, locked FPS, all sorts of things, and they've kind of come back and fixed some of those things, but they don't play real well on current software, and that doesn't speak well for the quality of the game. So I mean, to be noted, to be a little leery of Batman games on launch for sure.
Yeah, and they even have like pretty hefty requirements for their PC version. Like you need to have a Core i7 10700K or better, a Ryzen 5 5600X or better, 16 gigs of RAM, an RTX 2070 or an RX 5700 XT if you're into the Radeon, the AMD cards, and 45 gigs of space and an 8 gigs of dedicated video RAM. Like that's pretty beefy, man. That's a mid to high tier graphic. That's a mid to high tier gaming rig.
I mean, you're probably excluding 75% of gamers out there hardware wise by those specs. I mean, wow.
They're saying minimum requirements. You can skate by with a i5 9600K or a Ryzen 5 3600, 8 gigs of RAM, a GTX 1660 Ti or an RX 590, and have 6 gigs of RAM for the graphics card. But man, that's a lot of people's kind of setup, and that's the minimum. Like you're gonna be running 30 frames on a 1080p monitor. You're not going to be able
not that well
on the lowest settings. It's going to be crap. So guys, just be careful whenever you're getting some of these games. Some of these games, like they are really resource heavy. And I know I'm a huge Batman fan. My wife's a huge Batman fan. We love these games. Fortunately, I have a system that can play it. She's probably going to get it on through GameFly and end up playing. Well, I know she's going to get it because it's on her list to get through GameFly. But I've told her she's probably not going to like it. She's like, "Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin the experience. I'll play it when I play it and see. Maybe they'll fix it." Okay, that's fine.
I'm working through. I think I'm working through Arkham Knight on Arkham Knight. They're all named so similarly. It's hard. On my Steam Deck. It's one of the games I've been trying to get to play, but they don't play very good on my Steam Deck either. So, and that's the old game. So,
yeah,
that's not too surprising. So, if you're a big Batman fan, you better buy it on your Sony or have a pretty kick-ass PC.
And we're going to jump into, like, we were originally going to talk about the Witcher RPG being remade from the ground up, but there was more Witcher news that actually came out this week as far as like the Witcher, is it Netflix? It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Netflix series. So Henry Cavill is not going to be playing The Witcher anymore. He's
What?
I'm dropping this on you right now, Wild. This is live in the moment. He's not going to be playing in The Witcher in this upcoming season because he's doing filming for DC, so he doesn't have the time. So he's passed the reins on to Liam Hemsworth, who is Chris Hemsworth, Thor's little brother. So Thor's little brother is going to be playing The Witcher at least this next season, coming out on Netflix. So it's going to be a little bit different take. Plenty of women still find him attractive, but he's no Henry Cavill when it comes to attractiveness and the nerdy attractiveness to the women out there.
I mean, I don't think many women would kick him out of the bed.
Fair enough.
He got the abs like me, but
Yeah, the abs like us, us.
But back to the original story. They are going to remake Witcher with Unreal 5. You gotta think that's got to be a catalyst of Netflix being able to inject a little
interest
into the original game. And I think another good game. I've not played it. I've played a little bit of 3. I'm still kind of working my way through. It's sometimes hard to sit down and play that much of a game at a time, and the Witcher's a bit of a time grind. So one of those games, but it'll be interesting to see this come up and again, another Unreal 5 game now, and what they can do with it.
Yeah, it should be It should be really good. I mean, the games that I've played using Unreal Engine 5 has been really nice. So I think it's going to be a nice refresh to the game, and they'll probably add some new quirks and some new stuff to it so that it differs from the original a little bit. But I think for the most part, the storyline is going to remain the same. But it'll be good to see all the new stuff that all the new effects that they're going to be able to put into it, and see how much more immersive they can make the game. And while on the heels of Stadia shutting down, Netflix is now stepping into the ring saying they might get into cloud gaming while they form another new game studio. And the studio will be headed by former Overwatch executive producer Chaco Sonny. Wow. Why am I not surprised?
I when I saw this story, this is my story I found this week, I put this in there, and I thought Dagon's gonna get kicked out of this one. Yeah, I'm a little sick yet, guys, so I got to take a cough break. You'll hear my voice pitch up or down a little bit. Sometimes that's me struggling not to cough when I'm talking nonstop here. So sorry about that. But yeah, back onto it. Netflix, they got money. They've proven to put out good content in their movies, and they're not afraid to put the money to it. So I think it'll be an interesting spin on what you can do if you put some effort into it, because I think Netflix will put the effort into it. They seem to be a company that's going to do it if you know, if given the right direction.
Yeah, the fact that they're starting a whole new game studio is interesting to me. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't just invest into an already productive game studio versus trying to, kind of build their own. They have the capital. That's not a big deal. The big thing is that they're not asking you to subscribe as a console replacement. It's a completely different business model. The hope is over time that it just becomes this very natural way to play games wherever you are. And that's been the model for Stadia. That's been the model for Nvidia's gaming platform. That's been the model for Xbox Cloud. Like, that's everybody's model. I don't know why they're saying it's a completely different business model. It's really not. And the fact of the matter is their audience, I don't think they're gonna take off. They're gonna be right where Stadia was. Xbox is killing it right now. It's part of their subscription. It's already part of their subscription model. I mean, Netflix could add it, but then what? You're gonna be paying an extra $5, $6, $7 a month on your bill just so they can provide you a service that you're probably not gonna use. I don't think it's gonna last very long. I give it maybe a year. That's my hot take on this. Stadia didn't last that long. Stadia lasted like 3 years, and they're going to shut down in January of 2023. We'll see what kind of technical success that they get off of it, but I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. I don't see this working for them, to be honest.
Well, I mean, they're commenting. Their comment says that that's Verdue, one of the big wigs in so Netflix. Mike Verdue must be a big wig. I'm not exactly sure who he is. Stated and came out and said that Stadia was a technical success. It was fun to play on Stadia, but it had some issues with the business model. And so, it sounds like they're going to take Stadia's platform or what Stadia did right and just expand on that. And that, they think they can do the business model right. We'll see. They've done the movie model. They've done the movie model right. So
they're crushing it on the movie side of things. They're crushing it on movies and TV shows. There's some really good content that they're putting out. Gaming and the gaming audience is completely different now. If they're doing more RPG like story based games, like maybe they can turn some of their original movies and original series into games, that maybe, but we'll see. I don't think it's gonna pan out well for them personally. I think Microsoft is crushing it right now.
You just watch The Witcher. Click here, play Witcher now. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping. I like big pockets. I like to see what big pockets can do with potential. So Netflix has got some big pockets. They've been spending money to keep a lot of their gaming and a lot of their filming in house, and so they're smart about how they do it. So we'll see.
So we got some follow-ups this week. First follow-up that we're going to go over is, and I'm actually super, super disappointed and sad about this. And we talked about this in a podcast like literally not too long ago, and how excited I was that G4 TV was coming back. They're shutting it down already. They're discontinuing it less than a year after it launched. Fucking Comcast. I'm going to say that. Fucking Comcast is shutting G4 down. Basically,
I do believe the number one cited reason for shutting down G4 was all the gaming news can be found in the gaming moment.
All right. So that's actually not inaccurate, but they did say like a lot of the gaming content that people are looking for can already be found on Twitch and YouTube. So essentially Twitch and YouTube killed it. I mean, I understand taking it off of like a TV network. I get it, but they should still keep the YouTube channel going and have the shows on the YouTube channel, because that's really where they're killing it. Nobody's really watching it on TV. They're watching it on demand on YouTube. Why kill it? Like there's a nostalgia piece to it that people on my side, people go there. They do really good reviews. They do really good. They make really good content there. Now, mind you, I will say not all of their shows are great, but I think X Play, Attack of the Show, and a lot of their review shows are really, really good and really, really insightful. But I don't think they should nix the whole network. At least make it a channel on YouTube and keep producing content for YouTube.
Yeah, I mean it's a big thing. It's a bummer to lose any powerhouse in the gaming industry, but the reality is when you look at it back in the days of G4, when we watched it when it came out, the original time, you didn't have all these platforms. YouTube wasn't like it was. YouTube didn't even work like it did. The algorithms and such like that, they didn't really work like that. That's not how they worked. And you couldn't find, the content like you can now. It's real archivable.
Yeah.
It's easy to search. Now it's like, would you go to YouTube and only subscribe to one YouTube channel if you like technology? No, you end up getting sucked into all the good channels. You get Dynast Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus. I mean, Jay's 2 Cents. I mean, I can go down a list of just really good, brilliant people that are putting out good content right now. And it's like, I don't, not only is their content good, it's entertaining. It's not just, spit at you. It's entertaining stuff. So, maybe G-Force missed the bus and maybe they shouldn't have come back. Maybe they should realize the market actually is kind of saturated. There's, we're certainly not
quite
the
a
only
people. Quite a few
we're
people.
not the only gaming podcast out there, but I feel like, our streaming end of things is one of those things that, you don't get anywhere else, or you don't get the quality, we can bring to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, but yeah, there's a lot of choices out there, and it makes it hard to make money doing something when there's a lot of choices. So,
and we appreciate you guys. Yeah, we appreciate you guys making the choice to listen to our podcast, by the way. Thank you.
100%.
Well, do you want to talk about this 4090 being too powerful for its cables?
All right, so we even talked about this in the previous episode that we have a generational switch here potentially anyways. Now it looks like AMD won't go the same route, but there's some arguments with this new it's a 4 and 8 pin connector, 12 pins on it, but they're um like 8 pins are power and the 4 pins are kind of like a communication or a status or something issue. So it's hard to say, but what's happening is people are melting those connectors, and they're melting adapters that people are using from old power supplies to adapt to the new power requirements for the 4090s.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this could be an issue. It was already spec'd out by people far smarter than us to say that there are some limitations here that you're going to be awful close to. And it looks like there's been people with 4090s that have been melting the power cables. And I think they have finally it seems that we have a pretty good definitive idea now. I think a solid, plausible idea of what's causing it. And instead of the wire flipping, the all 8 wires kind of flipping, together left and right or side to side, it's really the wires going the long way. So if they're all 8 in a row, you can kind of picture that in your head. Then those all 8 kind of fold, to the left and to the right easily. But if you try to push them like north and south, where all 8 are stacked against each other and pushing one way, and all 8 are stacked against each other, pushing the other way, if you can understand that, is kind of what's breaking there's like almost like a bus bar inside the connector. That's one big metal piece, and that metal piece is distributing the power to the 4 pins of the connector, or the 8 pins on the connector.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, they're finding that they're shearing off or breaking the end pieces potentially on that bar inside the adapter, and that's what's causing the heat, because now it's pushing more wattage through those other 2 lines or 4 lines or 3 lines or whatever whatever didn't get broken. So it looks like you have to be really careful with your cables. Check your cables. People are pulling their cables off and finding them burnt. It might be a quality control issue with the cables. It might be a handling issue with the cables. We're not that far along, but it's definitely a serious issue. If you're fortunate enough to go out there and pick yourself up a 4090, you should be aware of this already. But keep your eyes on it. Don't assume you're not having problems by just not seeing problems. Pull it apart, give it a look. If you don't have the person to do that, find a person. Because it is an issue.
Yeah, the big thing is
You're
again
double
it's
mic'd.
so yeah, the biggest issue right now is, like Waldy said, they're using kind of like a really thin metal bar to disperse the power across all of these pins, where traditionally it's been a cable to each pin, which is why we haven't had this issue in the 30 series, both the 30 Ti's and the regular 30 series. Now they basically have 6 pins pushing out to 8 pins, so that's why they need this bar. And there's a lot of inconsistency in the quality of the solder and the job that the solder is doing. There's inconsistency. So some people are seeing the problem, other people are not. And like Wild said, it's more of a side to side. So if you have the row of pins like horizontal, if that cable is being bent horizontally in the same direction that those pins are, like the adapter is, that's where they're seeing the issue. It's not the up and down like on the short side, it's the long side. But Jay's 2 cents did come out and say that the best cable that you can get right now is actually Corsair's cable, because they do run a 1-to-1 cable. It's not using that little metal bar with the solder, so you're not going to run into that issue. So recommendation is don't use the adapter that comes in the box. Just go out, spend the extra It's like $10 or $15 for that Corsair cable, and use that, and it's going to save you a ton of time, a ton of problems. It could potentially save you from your damn house burning down. That's for damn sure, because that shit's getting hot and melting and could cause more problems than what you would need. So just go out, spend the extra $15, buy that Corsair one. Not a sponsor. Jay's 2 cents, not a sponsor on it. We don't have a link for it or anything anywhere right now. We could potentially have one in the podcast episode description, but as of right now, we don't. So make sure that you get that. It's hugely important, for your safety and the safety of your equipment.
Yeah. Yep.
And because of this, AMD has come out and said that they're not going to use this new adapter. They're going to stick with what's been working. And if you decide to go with an AMD RDNA 3 graphics card, you won't have to. This is a non-issue for you. They've already stated that they're not moving to this new platform.
Hey, just heads up to November 3rd. So probably about the time you guys are listening to this podcast, the new RDNA cards will be released to the world. So
fun.
Soon.
So guys, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you can engage with us, as well as find out when we're streaming the podcast and get a first listen before it goes out across all of your favorite podcasting platforms. So do it. And Walt, it looks like you found a really cool Optic Gaming TikTok. What's going on with this?
Yeah, this is a big one. This is Scump's final goodbye. So Optic Scumpy. Who's been playing, this is his last season. He's announced on TikTok here through Optic Gaming that this is the last season as a pro gamer. So, that's kind of big news. It's it's weird because I didn't really think much of it. I was like, whatever, but actually it is kind of I kind of feel it. Like the video is good. It's a minute, just over a minute, 2 minutes long, kind of going through just a little bit, kind of almost like a flashback of his career, and it's really good. And it's he's definitely had some fucking moments, and he's a great player, and overall I think he's a really great guy. So I mean, I'm sure that we're not losing him, but he'll move on to maybe a coaching position or whatever. He'll go on to continue to do great things. So I think he already probably a fairly strong streamer. Could probably focus some efforts on that if he wanted to, YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, welcome to getting old, man. Like this is man, he's been a pro since like 2012, 2013, so like 10 years. And
I never watched a lot of Scump because he was so young. When I just always felt like as a 20-something-year-old or whatever, 30-year-old or whatever, like it just felt like he was so much younger than me. It just, I don't know, I didn't almost connect with it because of that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull up like he's 27 years old right now. And man, he's been doing this since he was like 16 or 17. Really, this is where things start to get interesting for this generation of gamers, right? That have been pro gamers for their entire lives, where they might not have gone to college, or they might not have, focused hard on school because they were living in gaming houses with their team, practicing 24/7. What's the next step in their life? Is it streaming? Is it YouTubing? Is it enough to make a living now that your income from tournaments is gone? Do you start your own company and be a manager? Do you be a manager within Optic Gaming? Do you be a captain? These are things that excuse me, I haven't really thought about. You know,
I'd argue
now
that he has more potential to make more money now than he does under a pro contract. You know, I'm sure Big Papa Optic gets a big cut of that first. You know, so maybe he'll still fall under the same org. Hard to say.
Yeah, that's really hard to say. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I'm gonna go ahead and run the outro here because we have no questions. So, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Let us know if you're interested in getting the MetaQuest Pro. I don't think you should, but, if you really feel like it, let us know. Also, let us know what you think about Elon Musk taking over Twitter, what this means for Twitter. Are you seeing any effects on it from you personally? Did you leave the platform? Are you coming back to the platform? Let us know on social media. Hell, tweet at us. Tweet at us, send us a TikTok. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys for listening in. Consider our Patreon to support the podcast, and also by going to merch.agamingmoment.com and picking up some of that timeless classic merch. And if you've made it this far in the podcast, now's the best time to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. And until next time, keep grinding.